I know you talked about the turnaround being one of the most important things for tomorrow, but what other kind of challenges does Norfolk present from a basketball standpoint?
Well, Hampton's very, very talented in regard to in their ball pressure. Really hurt us last time. They challenged every dribble. We did not respond well. They got us on our heels while we were on offense, and they dictated the tempo. I thought we defended them pretty well, but they really choked us on the offensive end, and I think we have to do we have some creative challenges ahead of us. You know, we may need to make some adjustments with the lineup. I'm definitely going to tinker the lineup. It's going to be difficult for us to play them, and with the way that they play, to pressure us on the ball. It's going to be difficult for us to play the way we've been playing. I'm really glad that we walk out of this game with a lot of confidence, particularly a couple kids like Alexis Hicks. Who I kept her out there for a reason. I knew we were going to need her tomorrow as another ball handler, and I was pleased that she was able to come through because I think she could be a good player for us, down the road.
Is it safe to say you probably wouldn't be able to withstand kind of a start to the game, or would be difficult to withstand a start like you had today? I mean, you guys were able to weather it today. Defensively, they presented a few problems, and you guys had that stretch where the offense kind of struggled. And you didn't get a lot of second chance opportunities.
Yeah.
Is that going to be important tomorrow as well?
I think what hurt us most today was the defensive breakdowns, where they scored 10 points on breakdowns. Things that we knew they were going to do. I mean, 24 drives the lane, uncontested, with no weak side help, twice on back-to-back possessions, and 23, who we knew could only really hurt us from the three-point line, makes 2 back-to-back threes. So there's the 10-point swing right there, where I kind of look at it as more like the Baltimore Ravens that won the championship type of team, with the early Flacco, with Jessica, and that we're going to grind out on the defensive end. Basketball games, we offensively, if we play great, that's gravy, but we got to play a much better sound defensive game than we did today, particularly in the first half, because they'll roll that 10 points into 15, 20, and we know we're going to have our struggles on the offense at different times.
Jessica today, stat-wise, not a huge day for her, but still down the stretch, she was kind of controlling the ball and doing things, and you guys were having to play against the pressure and get the ball up the court and stuff. What does she bring this team on a day like today, where maybe the stats aren't as?
Until they start keeping stats on charges, we'll never really know the impact that Jessica Long has on the game. She changes the game with that. But, there was a time I took her out the game because she had back-to-back turnovers after we went up 16. And, I kind of jumped on her. But we're not a good basketball team with her on the bench. We need her out there. We need her fighting. Her confidence is contagious to the other kids. Her will, her desire. She's just a kid that I would never bet against. No matter how, stat-wise, you'll never get a chance to see who she is as far as her stats. Numbers, it's her heart, her determination, her grit, and her anticipation and her savvy. She's one of the most intelligent basketball players that I've ever coached. And, we're just a much better team with her on the floor. And she gets so mad when I take her out, even when she's exhausted. She played 34 minutes today. She was ticked off every time I subbed her out, but I don't think she probably played 2-3 minutes more than she should have today with the fatigue, because I think I have to protect her from herself sometimes, because when she gets fatigued, her game is different as opposed to when she's fresh and she's strong. And that's something that her and I, it's like a marriage with Jessica. 4 years, we fight, we argue, throw stuff at each other, but she's my greatest ally, and I know if we're going to do something special tomorrow, it's going to be from her head and her heart.
What about, Moy does so much for you guys on both ends of the floor, and she's someone that at the end of the game you look at her stats and you're like, wow, where did that come from? What did she do for you today? Because she did, so many different things.
I thought most people, they saw a couple shots she made, but that wasn't it. It was her on the defensive end. She was there, even against Morgan when we lost that game, and she didn't have a great game, but she was the one who was always in position when they made a drive, when they made a play. She's learned how to do those things without fouling. I think where she comes from, they let her foul a little bit more, take more risks, but she's not getting those type of calls here, so she's learned how to play defense without fouling. She's once she realizes and maintains her confidence as a young woman, you know, whether or not her shot is going down, she can do so many things on a basketball court to help you win, similar to a Jessica Long, that numbers will never indicate the impact that they can have.
You mentioned a lot of minutes. She played a lot of minutes, and you know, Alexis played a lot of minutes as well. Possibly because of the foul trouble for everybody else. You know, they made you guys work hard on the inside, and she didn't get her fourth until, I guess there was about 7 minutes left in the game, and you finally did have to take her out.
Right.
Talk about what she gave you out there.
Well, and you know, it was a much tougher game than I think people realize. We kind of ran away at the end, but it was a much tougher game, and it was anybody's game. It was an 8-point. They made it to cut it down to 8. Moy got a steal, which changed the difference. Jessica got a steal on a conversion. So it was a much tougher game, and I'm looking up and I'm seeing how I could sit them at about the 3-minute mark, and then I think about the fact that there's no tomorrow, even if there is a tomorrow, and I say, stay on the floor. And we'll live with the fact if that's going to hurt us that you played 2 or 3 extra minutes, then we weren't going to win anyway. So I wanted to make sure we secured the win, and it forced. Moy played the entire second half. You know, she never came out. I'm really aware of those type of things. Lexi has shown her ability to do that. Now, that's why I keep saying the challenge. Now we have to come back and be mentally tough through the fatigue and come back in less than 24 hours. And that's a tough one. I don't know if people realize it. We started at 12, we finish at 2, and we come back. So it's 22, 21 hours that we have to be ready to play another game, you know, and be mentally and physically tough enough to handle that challenge.